Most people think a watch losing value means the watch is bad. Most people are wrong. Omega's weighted average value. Retention across every reference it sells is negative 30.7%. That is not a rumor, an opinion, or a forum argument. That is the number WatchCharts calculates from actual transaction volume across 261 references. Rolex sport models retain 80 to 120% of retail. Omega gives back a third of it before the buyer gets home. 7 of those references fell significantly harder than that. All 7 are now trading at prices that make the original retail look like a clerical error. And every one of them is a better watch than the number suggests. By the end of this, you will know exactly where to spend your money and where you are just paying for a name on a dial. 7 specific references, full model numbers, exact secondary market values from WatchCharts as of August 2026, with the WatchCharts risk score attached to each one. 5-year and 1-year performance measured against the Omega brand index and against each watch's own collection index. So the underperformance is quantified rather than described. No opinions. No nostalgia. Just the difference between a watch that failed and a watch that was priced by people who were not paying attention. 1. Omega Speedmaster Racing. Refter 326 to 32.40, 50, 06 to Zone 1 market, $3,431. The Speedmaster Racing is the reference the enthusiast community decided to ignore, and the market followed the community. 40.25 millimeters, ceramic bezel, racing minute track on the dial. Inside it, the caliber 9300, Omega's in-house column wheel, coaxial chronograph with a 2-register layout that combines hours and minutes on one subdial. That movement was engineered from scratch, and it is not a modified ETA anything. It trades at $3,431. Here is what most people get wrong. They compare it to the Moonwatch and conclude it is the lesser watch. Mechanically, that is backwards. The Moonwatch runs a hand wound, Lemania-derived caliber, whose architecture dates to the 1960s. The Racing runs a modern automatic in-house chronograph with a column wheel, silicon balanced spring, and 60 hours of reserve. The Moonwatch is historically superior. The Racing is technically superior. Only one of those two things gets priced. Here's what the marketing will not tell you. The Racing is the reference Omega uses to move its most expensive movement into a case nobody has emotional attachment to. When the emotional attachment fails to form, the price collapses to what the components are actually worth, which is where it is now. Verdict: the cheapest route into an in-house Omega chronograph that exists. The bezel is ceramic, the movement is modern, and the discount is entirely narrative. 2. Omega Speedmaster Mark II. Refer URL 327 to 4350, $1 market, $3,575. The Mark II is a genuine oddity, a watch Omega revived, sold for 4 years, and quietly discontinued, leaving behind a fixed pool of inventory that the market has never fully priced. 42.4 by 46.2 millimeters, in the barrel-shaped case Omega designed in 1969 as the Speedmaster's successor. Inside, the caliber 3330, column wheel, coaxial escapement, Psi-14 silicon balanced spring. It trades at $3,575. Here's what most people get wrong. They treat the tonneau case as a design failure. It was a design brief. The Mark II was built to be the flight-rated Speedmaster with better crystal protection, which is why the crystal sits recessed below the case line instead of proud of it. Judging it as a failed round, Speedmaster misses that it was never trying to be one. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. Discontinued and cheap normally do not coexist. When a reference is out of production and still trading below $3,600, that is not scarcity being ignored. It is a market that has not identified the reference as collectible yet. That gap closes or it does not, and nobody can tell you which. What can be verified is the current arithmetic, an in-house column wheel coaxial movement, a discontinued case, and a price below what many brands charge for a Sellita-powered 3-hander. Verdict: the highest variance entry on this list, lowest floor, most uncertain ceiling. 3. Omega Seamaster 300 Master Coaxial Ref 233 30 41 21 1 No one market $3,111. This is the one where the underperformance is precisely measurable, and the reason for it is precisely stupid. 41 millimeters, ceramic bezel with liquid metal numerals, sandwich dial with luminous material sitting in the layer beneath. 200 meters. The caliber 8400 with a coaxial escapement and resistance to 15,000 Gauss. It trades at $3,811. Here's what most people get wrong. They think it depreciated because the Seamaster line depreciated. It did not. Over 5 years, this reference fell 6.3%, while the WatchCharts Omega Speedmaster Index rose 4.2%. It underperformed its own collection by 10.5 percentage points. This watch fell while the family it belongs to was climbing. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. The reason is inside the Omega catalog, not outside it. The Seamaster Diver 300M is the Bond watch. It is the reference every Omega marketing dollar has pointed at for 30 years, and it retains 60 to 75% of retail. The Seamaster 300, no Diver, no M, is the vintage-inspired one that never got the film. 2 watches, 1 letter of difference in the name, and a 5-figure gap in cumulative advertising behind them. There is one hard data point that separates this from the rest of the list. It took a median of 18 days to sell. That is faster than 81% of watches on the market. This is a liquid asset trading at a depressed price, which is a rarer combination than it sounds. Verdict: the strongest risk-adjusted entry here. It fell against its own collection, and it still sells in under 3 weeks. 4. Omega Ville Hour Vision Ref 431-2030 41-21-02 and 01 Market High 3s. WatchCharts risk score 71-100. The Hour Vision is the watch that proves the recognition tax is real, because it is objectively the most technically ambitious case Omega has produced at this price point, and the market has assigned it nothing. 41 millimeters with 4 sapphire windows set into the case flanks, so the movement is visible from the side as well as the back. That construction requires machining and sealing tolerances the rest of the catalog does not, and it exists in almost no other watch at any price. Here's what most people get wrong. They read the DeVille badge as dress watch and stop. The performance data says the market read it the same way, which is exactly the opportunity. Over 1 year, this reference fell 8.3%, while the WatchCharts Omega Index rose 5.8%. 14.1 percentage points of underperformance in 12 months. Over 5 years, it is down 10.9%. WatchCharts rates it 71 out of 100, high risk. The Hour Vision annual calendar variant is worse still, down 15.9% over 5 years, same 71 risk rating. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. High risk on the WatchCharts scale is a forward-looking depreciation warning aimed at buyers paying retail. For a buyer entering on the secondary market at a price that already absorbed the decline, that same score describes a floor rather than a cliff. The risk was borne by whoever bought it new. It is not a cost the second owner pays twice. Verdict: the most engineering per dollar in this entire video. Also, the slowest to sell. Expect to hold it, not flip it. 5. Omega Globemaster 39mm Ref 130 33 39 21 03 Daoshimura 1 Market 4300 4600 Retail approximately 8300. This is the largest retail to market gap on the list, and the watch carries a distinction no other Omega can claim. 39mm fluted tungsten carbide bezel. Pipan dial revived directly from the constellation references of the 1950s. On the caseback, the observatory medallion. Inside, the caliber 8900. It trades between $4,300 and $4,600 against a retail price of approximately $8,300. That is roughly 45% below list, meaningfully worse than the 33.4% that in production Omegas average. Here's what most people get wrong. They classify it as a constellation and price it accordingly, What they are actually skipping is that the Globemaster was the first watch on Earth to be certified Master Chronometer under the META standard, a certification that tests the fully cased watch, not the loose movement, across magnetism, accuracy, power reserve, and water resistance. Every Master Chronometer Omega sold since descends from this reference. It is a genuine first, and it is priced like a leftover. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. The steel bracelet reference of the same watch retails around $8,300 and trades at $5,000 to $5,200, pre-owned with full box and papers. The $3,000 difference between new and pre-owned is what the unopened box costs. That is the entire premium, not condition, not warranty, not specification, and one counterweight because the data is not uniform. A different Globemaster reference, the 130.23, rose 19.2% over the past year against a brand index up 7%. The collection is not uniformly falling. Reference selection inside it is doing all the work. Verdict: the best pure discount on the list. Buy the strap version, not the bracelet, and collect the extra $700. 6. Omega Seamaster Planet, Ocean 600M, 45.5mm, Reftasche, 232.30, 46.21.01 owned 3 market, approximately $4,395 full set. The Planet Ocean, 45.5 is the reference that was destroyed by a trend rather than by a flaw. 45.5mm, ceramic bezel, 600 meters, helium escape valve. The caliber 8500 with coaxial escapement, and 60 hours of reserve. Full sets with box and papers have traded around $4,395. Here's what most people get wrong. They assume the price reflects the movement or the finishing. It reflects the diameter. The market moved from 45mm cases to 38 and 41mm cases between roughly 2017 and 2022. And every large diameter reference in every catalog was repriced by that shift regardless of quality. The Planet Ocean. 42mm version of essentially the same watch holds noticeably better. This one is not falling anymore, incidentally. It rose 4.4% over the past year, roughly in line with its own Planet Ocean Index. The crash already happened. What remains is the residue. Here's what the marketing will not tell you. Fashion in case diameter reverses. It has reversed twice in 40 years. Nobody can tell you when, and anyone who does is guessing. What is verifiable is that this reference sold in a median of 24.5 days. It is liquid, it is deep in supply, and the discount attached to it is a measurement of taste rather than of engineering. If your wrist takes a 45mm case, this is the most watch per dollar Omega currently supplies. If it does not, none of the above matters, and no discount fixes a watch that overhangs your wrist. Verdict: conditional. Try it on first. The specification is exceptional, and the size is non-negotiable. 7. Omega Speedmaster 57, Refdent 331 10 42.51 zo1 il2 market 5053. WatchCharts risk score 78 on 100, extreme risk, and here's the one with the worst number on the list by a wide margin. 41.5mm, broad arrow hands, straight lugs taken from the CK295. The original 1957 Speedmaster. Inside, the caliber 9300, the same in-house column wheel, coaxial chronograph from Entry 1, in a case built around the most important design reference Omega owns. It trades at $5,053. Here's what most people get wrong. They assume it fell because the Speedmaster fell. The opposite happened. Over 5 years, this reference dropped 20.8%. While the WatchCharts Omega Speedmaster Index rose 14.8%. That is 35.6 percentage points of underperformance against its own collection, and 35.4 points against the entire tracked market, which rose 14.6% over the same window. This is not a watch that participated in a downturn. This is a watch that fell alone while everything around it climbed. A related reference, the 331-10 42.51.03.0011 fell 23.2% in a single year against an Omega index that was down only 3.4. WatchCharts rates it 82 out of 100. Extreme risk. A full triple box set of the 331.10 traded at $3,895. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. Omega replaced this generation with a slimmer 40.5mm 57 running a hand wound movement, which was, by most accounts, the correct decision. But replacement is what killed the price, not defect. The 9300 generation was discontinued while functioning perfectly, and the discontinuation is the reason the number is what it is. There is one real cost that no listing discloses. Coaxial chronograph servicing is not a routine expense, and any watch bought at this level with unknown service history carries that liability. That figure is not published, it varies by market, and any secondhand purchase in this catalog should assume it is coming. That is the honest asterisk on all 7 entries, and it is the one thing the discount does not cover. Verdict: the largest documented divergence in the video. In-house chronograph, the most historically significant case shape Omega has, and a 5-year loss that its own collection did not share.